Okay, everybody, back. Brand new Cabral HouseCall, second one of the weekend. Of course, we got to 5 amazing questions yesterday from the community. Hopefully, you were able to tune in. We talked about all things at-home lab testing, CBO protocol, modified CBO protocol, bloating, gas, cravings. We talked about creatine. Does it cause hair loss or does it not? And if so, in who? What else did we talk about? We talked about some under the rib cage pain on the right side. And then really, what is the best hydrogen water machine out there? And then how do you use an under the water sink reverse osmosis? All right, that was yesterday's show. If you want to tune into that show, you can do so after today's at 3571. That's stephencabral.com/3571. Today, if you want to follow along the questions, head on over to stephencabral.com/3572. All right, let's dive in. Our first question is from Sheena. Sheena says, "Hi, Dr. C. Hope you and your team are all well. I've been a long-time follower, and I'm trying my best to incorporate all the different ways to stay healthy by following the rain barrel protocol. When it comes to detoxing, besides exercise and the 7-day detox, I dry brush, rebound, and now would like to start investing in an infrared sauna. My question is, even though dry brushing and rebounding is only 5 to 15 minutes, do I still need to do it if I get in a sauna? If I'm trying to save time anywhere I can. Also, regarding infrared sauna, which do you prefer? The Thera 360, higher dose, infrared sauna blanket. I've listened to all your podcasts that review them, and they both sound great. But is there a better one between the two? Thanks in advance for your answer." Okay, happy to help. So let's tackle them one at a time. If you are doing the sauna, do you need to dry brush and rebound? All right, so here's how it works. In my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, I talk about rebounding, right? Doing that first, then sauna, and then for those that are, just in it to win it, coffee enema. But you do this in a very specific way. So, or dry brush instead of rebound. In Ayurvedic medicine, you would get a massage as part of panchakama. You would get the lymphatic system moving. That's rebounded, all right? Then you would hop in the sauna. They did that in Ayurveda. They either sat big people in the sun or they had sweat boxes. That's what I use, a sweat box over there. And then after that, you would do a basti. And so instead we use what's called the coffee enema, and very, very similar, right? So here's the thing. Rebounding for 5 minutes is fantastic. That moves the lymph, that mobilizes toxins, that then better sweats them out when you're in the sauna. Now, the nice thing is you can just dry brush in your first few minutes of the sauna. So if you don't have time to rebound, or you just do 3 to 5 minutes of rebounding, honestly, just start with 3 minutes. Hop in the sauna, start dry brushing while you're in the sauna. You're not going to start sweating right away. And then you do your sauna. So really there's no real extra time. All right, so I still definitely recommend those. Equalife has that copper dry brush. I definitely recommend that. We do giveaways a couple times a year. You'll find that at least once a year we do it. And I'm sure it'll be available at a great discount for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale as well. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, the second part of the question, the Thera 360 or the higher dose infrared sauna blanket? All right, well, I got to give you the truth. The truth is this. The best saunas are the higher dose, wood box sauna. That's incredible. But obviously 5 times the cost, right? So it's much more expensive. Okay. Now, let's say you don't go with that and you said, I'm going to choose either the Thera 360 or the sauna blanket. Definitely the Thera 360. Definitely Thera 360. And it's a couple of reasons why. Although it takes a little longer to heat up, you can get a great sweat, and there's also the red light panels in there, and it's less EMFs. Sauna blanket, a little bit more EMFs, but also heats up pretty much right away, and you sweat right away. So there's no bad one, but I would go wood box infrared sauna, right? The higher dose makes an amazing one. And again, use our discount code, so at least you save something. Thera 360, and then I would go after that sauna blanket. All right? Hopefully that is helpful. You can't go wrong with any of them, honestly. Get a good sweat going. They're incredible. All right, Kirsty is up next. Hi, Stephen. I recently came across some information suggesting that resveratrol might be estrogenic. I was hoping you could clarify whether it's true. I've been taking it alongside NMN, but now I'm a bit concerned. It might not be as beneficial as I initially thought. Thank you so much for all you do. I love and trust your information. Kirsty. Thank you, Kirsty. Appreciate you. Appreciate your trust. And again, I will always give you an unbiased take on these things. I really will. I don't care about products or companies or anything like that. I care about people's health. I want to do this for the next 35, 40 years, truthfully, maybe longer, right? But that's the truth. So I'm not going to ruin my reputation by recommending, some person's product. Okay, so what is the real science of this? So there have been some in vitro and other studies, non-human clinical trials, based on resveratrol, but the dosage as to where it causes a higher level of estrogen, I shouldn't say higher level, but has estrogenic activity, because I'm going to clarify that in a moment, is above 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams. Now, take a product like Cell Boost. Cell Boost contains nicotinamide riboside, astragalus, like so many great ingredients. That's what we use to boost mitochondria for longevity, usually taken alongside of Inflammasoothe. That's the advanced renewal support. You can find all these, by the way, at stevencabral.com/shop. You can just read the ingredients. Of course, you don't have to purchase them there, but at least you see what we do. And that product, though, has 150 milligrams of trans resveratrol. Very absorbable. And at that dosage, so typically below 250 milligrams to 300 milligrams a day, does not have that estrogenic activity. It's when you get at high dosages, like most things. But also, it seems that even though it acts as a phytoestrogen, it doesn't add more estrogen to the body. And it will typically displace other estrogen, or maybe even more powerful inflammatory estrogens, like estradiol, from attaching to cells. So we don't actually know that it's a bad thing. We do know that it can act as a phytoestrogen at higher dosages, specifically 1 gram. In our practice, we use 150 to 300 milligrams maximum per day. For nicotinamide riboside, we use 125 to 250 milligrams typically maximum per day. We don't usually go above that. All right. Let's see. Thank you for the question, though. Great question. Trisha is up next. Trisha says, good morning, Dr. Bral. I have a problem that I just can't seem to conquer, and I know if I don't, I will never reach my health goals. Every night at 8 p.m., like clockwork, I want to eat. It doesn't matter what time I have dinner or what I eat for dinner. I believe it might be a habit I can't seem to break. I will use strong willpower for a few months to start to lose weight and feel great, and then my willpower gives in, and I'm back to snack at 8 p.m. Then my health starts to spiral. It makes me sad that I can't win this battle. I listen to you every day, and you've helped me so much. I just can't seem to break this vicious cycle. Do you have any advice? I go to bed early because I wake up at 4 a.m., so I try to eat dinner at 4:30 p.m. Thank you. Okay. Totally get it. Totally understand. We teach this in depth inside of IHP Mastery. If you're a health coach, Trisha, I would definitely recommend checking that out. Or you want to learn more about the psychology of health coaching. This is an important one, especially since you're eating earlier, right? So when you eat at 4:30, you want to snack around 8. It's 3.5 hours later, right? So it's kind of like, oh, it's time to eat again. So your body seems to believe that it's time for the next meal. And your blood sugar levels may have actually come down by then. So there's a couple things we need to do. If you wake up at 4 a.m., just me, again, I'm only giving I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. If I woke up at 4 a.m., I'd be going to bed at 8 p.m. So I would start getting ready at 7:30 p.m. And I would go through my formula. So basically, you're getting yourself ready, whether it's just a hot washcloth on your face, just kind of calming your body down. You're brushing your teeth. You're getting to bed. You're reading a little something. Maybe you put on the Neuropod. You calm your central nervous system. Maybe you journal, meditate, pray, whatever it is that you do. And you're already in bed by the time you're getting hungry. That's what we would have to do. Of course, we'd eat a decent amount of protein and fiber at dinner. And then all of this mostly is psychological. Unless you're not eating enough during the day. That's the other thing. Are you getting in enough of your micronutrients and macros as well? So if you're waking up at 4 a.m., you can absolutely do a 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., or 4:30 p.m. dinner. And you can get 3 great meals in per day. Just make sure that you're satisfying all your nutrient requirements. And that's what I would do. Break that habit of feeling that. Because truthfully, myself and many of my clients, if I get in that same habit of having a little something an hour after dinner, the next night I want the same thing. It's literally one night and my body's already creating the habit. It's like, yeah, well, we like that. We like those extra snacks an hour after dinner. We want more of those, right? Because your body wants to gain weight for a survival-based, mechanism. So I try I just make sure that those things aren't in the house and I break that. I was going through like the chocolate thing and a little too much chocolate around 7:30 each night, which would be for me about an hour and a half after eating. And I just had to cut that right out. I said, no, none of that. None of my favorite chocolates are in the house. All that's gone. Even though you could say, well, it's a high antioxidant, all these things. Nope, out. I don't want it in there. I want to start my fast by 6 p.m. and I want to break it at 8 a.m. So that's what works for me. So I get it. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3. I got another one from Trisha. I thought I was repeating. It says, hi, it's me again. I also do well with routine. And I remember on one of your podcasts, you mentioned you tend to eat the same foods during the week to keep it simple. Do you mind sharing your meal plan for the week? I need simple and routine. Also, on Monday, do you still do a reset most weeks? Thank you for taking the time to record these podcasts. Always happy to help, Trisha. So my eating plan is so simple. So simple. Yes, I'll do a whole podcast on it, but every morning I wake up, I don't have anything. So I start my morning routine. Nothing. I don't, so a lot of people wake up, they do the electrolytes, all that, totally get it. When it is time for me, if I have breakfast at 8, I start my greens juice and greens powder. I actually have green juice and I add a scoop of our daily fruit and vegetable blend to it because there are so many people, it's hard to get your 7 to 9 servings of fruits and veggies every day. I want to overload that. I want to err on the side of like 9 to 10. So I just add one more scoop. That's all. And it's delicious, the crisp apple. So that's what I do. I shake that up and I take them with my upon waking vitamins. So upon waking should be at least 30 minutes before you do food. So those are my proteolytic enzymes and other nice nutrients that I like to take. Okay, so that's what I do. And then I have my smoothie and I have oatmeal most mornings, or I might have a Himalayan, tartary, buckwheat, gluten-free, dairy-free oat flour waffle. And so basically I'm making that, which is myself. I use olive oil for my fat. I think I've already given that recipe before, but if I haven't, I'll certainly do that. I might do that on the weekend with my daughters. I love doing that. So typically, let's say that's a Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so that's pretty much my breakfast. I get my fruit, my smoothie. I've given my smoothies out many times. You can download them at StephenCabral.com. So feel free to do that. All the smoothie guides. Lunch, almost always is veggies. So those are 2 to 3 cups of veggies, and that's going to be whatever we have, which is always broccoli in the house. And if I don't have anything, I told you before, I do not leftovers, the frozen cauliflower, carrot, broccoli blend, and they have that at most stores now. They call it like a California blend. It's organic. And I do that with a protein. So I always add protein to it, and typically for me, a starch. So I need a little bit more carbs than other humans. I'm very active, still have a pretty good metabolism, not as good as it was 20 years ago, that's for sure, but good. And so that'll be like purple sweet potatoes, or it might be some type of rice. And then I'll do, like today was salmon. And so I did salmon today that was left over from last night. So, that's it. I do legumes many days. My wife makes a lentil soup that I do twice a week. And so that will be carrots and celery and some onions, all that nice, those spices nice mixed in there. So it's a very Ayurvedic based lunch, but that's it. I really only rotate those 2 lunches, and the protein might be a little bit different, but it's pretty boring. And then for me, instead of doing 3, I do typically 4. I do a smoothie during my workout. I love it. I've been doing it forever. Every time I stop it and I just do like another greens drink or something like that, I miss it. It helps me with inflammation. It helps me with the recovery. Not for everybody. This turned into a long podcast now. You asked, I'm going to answer, right? And then for dinner, it's always whatever my wife makes, and she does such a great job. So it's always a protein, a veggie, a healthy starch, and then it's olive oil. So that's essentially that. That's the formula. It's nothing crazy, right? It's just normal eating. And then of course, don't get me wrong, I have a delicious flex meal pretty much every Friday. And then, what might be one other time per week. All right. So that's what I do. And that's how I keep it dialed in. There's some other nuances. I'm happy to go through a whole show kind of a day in my life of eating. I plan to do more YouTube videos that are day in the life. So if you haven't already subscribed, just head on over to YouTube. Just my name, Stephen Cabral. Press follow along, subscribe. We'd love to have you over there. There's going to be a brand new channel, which is literally day in the life and YouTube only content. So check it out. All right. One more question from Amy. Amy says, I'm interested in getting the food sensitivity test for my 6-year-old daughter. Is it something I can use for her? Is there any age restriction? Is it an at-home urine test? Thank you. Okay. All food sensitivity testing is blood. So we use a small finger prick. My daughters have been doing it since they were age 3 years old. Every summer when I'm in Maine, I have like a dozen food sensitivity tests. I use it for some of my nieces and nephews, for any of their parents who want it done. And I just do a little finger prick, barely feel it. And then we just 5 little drops of blood. That's it. Send it in. You get 193 different foods that we test for. So that's it. 3 years old and up. It's super simple. Literally great for the whole family. So my wife does it, I do it, and my daughters do it. And we'll often do it twice a year. Not everybody has to do it, obviously, every 6 months, but it's great to test. It's also nice to see, are there any new potential inflammatory foods and have any foods come down? And of course, that's what we do. We teach you the elimination diet. If any foods are inflammatory, we reduce those, and then we teach you how to add them back in as desired. All right. All of those labs are at StephenCabral.com/shop. All the protocols, everything we do is there over at Equilife. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the show. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral concept.